Welcome back to part 2 of the Gamer Ghouls official wishlist for the Mario Kart 9 roster. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to check out part 1, which is linked in the description. In the last episode, we left off with Donkey Kong and Cranky Kong, so it seems only right to start this list off with Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong. You probably remember these two from the Donkey Kong Country franchise, as both leading and supporting roles depending on the game. They're both fun and unique characters who've already cemented their racing credentials in previous racing titles. Now I know what you're going to say, Jeffrey. These characters aren't canonically in the Mario universe. They belong to remain in the Donkey Kong universe. Unless Nintendo decides to bring back Diddy Kong Racing, I see no reason why these characters don't deserve a spot on the Mario Kart roster. Moving swiftly along, we find Lina and Pauline. If you're a dinosaur like myself, you'll remember Pauline as the damsel in distress and Mario's first love interest in his debut title, Donkey Kong. Lina, on the other hand, became a fan favorite when she first appeared as the adoptive mother of the Lumas in the Super Mario Galaxy on the Nintendo Wii. I'll admit, it was nice seeing another human walking, or in this case, floating around the Mushroom Universe, especially since Pauline has only made seldom appearances since Mario took up residence in the Mushroom Kingdom. However, it seems that her absence was warranted with the revelation that she's been busy with her duties as mayor of New Donk City, as we learn in Super Mario Odyssey. Next on our list, at number 26, we find the thorn that's been stuck in the Mario Brothers' side since their infancy, the powerful Magic Koopa Kamek. We learned in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, that Kamek has acted as Bowser's primary caretaker and parental figure throughout his life. Playing such an important role, one might imagine that he'd be a shoo-in as a selectable character. However, while he's been slated to appear as a playable character in previous racing titles, for some reason he's always managed to be removed and replaced at the last minute. A good example of this is in Mario Kart 64, where we find his portrait in an early photograph of the character selection screen. Yet, he was ultimately replaced by Donkey Kong. I'm sure you'll agree that it's high time that he gets his spot on the Mario Kart 9 roster. I might add that, like the Yoshis and Koopa Troopers, Kamek offers the potential for alternative color schemes. Drifting in at number 27, we find Luigi's arch-nemesis, leader of the undead, King Boo. As I've mentioned previously, as someone who's dying to become a Boo himself one of these days, I was thrilled when Nintendo decided to make this Spectre a selectable character in the Mario Kart series, and I hope he continues to remain on the roster. Number 28. Since her first appearance in Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, Captain Syrup, leader of the Black Sugar Gang, has been Wario's main rival throughout the Wario Land series. Unlike most other human females in the Wario and Mario series, with a few exceptions, Captain Syrup is cunning and ruthless. She doesn't depend on anyone to rescue her or provide for her. Sure, she'll use her assets in order to manipulate others to do her dirty work, but she's not afraid to get her hands dirty in order to obtain what she wants. Captain Syrup is one of Nintendo's most underutilized villains and acts as a good counterpart to the princesses, which is why she deserves a spot on the Mario Kart roster. Next on the wish list, we find the malevolent ruler of the Gremlins and the main villain in the Donkey Kong franchise, King K. Rool, known for having a passion for stealing the Kong's hoard of bananas. For reasons, I don't know, perhaps he's trying to starve them into submission? Regardless of his motives, Rool would make an amusing addition to the roster, with the potential for various alternative costumes based on all of his alter egos used throughout the Donkey Kong franchise. Number 30. Petey Piranha stole players' hearts with his first appearance in Super Mario Sunshine. In all of his incarnations, he's depicted waddling around like a temperamental newborn, wearing polka-dotted Speedos. Or is it a nappy? What's not to love about Petey? Since his conception, he's appeared in numerous titles, including Mario Kart Double Dash. Petey always makes a welcome addition to the heavyweight division and deserves to remain there. Slinking in at number 31, we find the Shy Guys. Who doesn't love these timid Treblemakers? They're one of the few characters that managed to make the leap from Super Mario Bros. USA into other titles. In more recent years, they can primarily be found as enemies in the Paper Mario and Yoshi series. They made their racing debut in Mario Kart DS and make a great addition to the lightweight division. Lakitu comes in at number 32. From the very beginning, the Lakitu have given the Mario Brothers a hard time, racing about in the sky, showering them with spiny eggs. It seems only natural that they'd be a good pick for the Mario Kart roster, as they're undoubtedly experts at flying about in the sky while avoiding hazards. It should also be noted that the Lakitu have been heavily involved in the Mario Kart racing series since the beginning of the franchise, holding the starting light, guiding racers who go astray, filming Mario Kart racing, and of course helping drivers out of bad situations by transporting them back onto the track. Next on the list is everyone's favorite mid-level bosses, Boom Boom and his partner Pom Pom. If you've played nearly any of the main titles, you'll be familiar with this duo, as they're often seen shortly before one reaches the Koopalings or Bowser. Having first appeared in Super Mario Bros. 3, Boom Boom is still lacking in character development, and that could be rectified on the racetrack. Next on our list is the notorious Professor Elvin Gad. While this wily professor has invented numerous tools and equipment used by both hero and villain alike, Professor Egad is best known for being a paranormal investigator who eagerly aids a reluctant Luigi in his ghost hunting expeditions. As such, the professor has proven himself to be as agile and resilient in his old age as any of the whippersnappers found on the Mario Kart roster, making him a viable candidate. Might I add that he's already created a race kart called the Poltergust 2000 as seen driven by Luigi. What more do you need? Coming in at number 36 and number 37, the first being a star sprite that fell from the heavens in order to aid Mario on his quest in Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, and the second being a major beanish antagonist in the Mario and Luigi series. Since their conceptions, fans have rallied to have Gino and Fourth appear in other platforms, and what other way to appease the masses than by adding these two extra lightweights to the Mario Kart roster. Next on our list, we find the most underutilized villains floating around in Mario Purgatory: Wart, Mauser, and Tatanaga. While it's true that all three have made cameos here and there, most notably when Mauser was made King Koopa's second-in-command in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, they've ultimately been buried in the sands of time. I know what you're going to say. Jeffery, these characters are so old, kids nowadays aren't familiar with them, so they don't deserve a spot on the roster list. My response to that is, not my problem. Expand your gaming library. Everyone complains about repetition in the Mario storylines, yet complain when they're introduced to something that they're not familiar with. So why not spice things up by resurrecting these three? And last but not least, Wiggler and Honey Queen. You've got to admit that these two are adorable. Just look at that flower on the top of Wiggler's head. But heaven forbid you make it wilt, because these guys are a ticking time bomb waiting for an excuse to go off. The Honey Queen, on the other hand, is a happy-go-lucky queen bee who's only interested in tending her territory. They both made their first appearances as playable character in Mario Kart 7 and make excellent additions to their respected weight classes. And that ends my wish list for the Mario Kart 9 roster. If you enjoyed this series, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for more. If you haven't done so already, make sure to check out my series, The Gamer Ghoul, which follows my efforts to escape the clutches of an evil Magic Koopa while exploring retro gaming. It's like a cross between the angry video game nerd and the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, so make sure to check it out.